Hunter Biden. You knew where I was going to go with that, right? The man, I'm sure Hunter Biden is taking Holy Week off. He probably is a strict observer of it. Well, and he might be right now because he's going to probably need a little bit of help in the near future. It's starting to look like, we on the show have long believed that he would not be indicted because, if he was going to be indicted, why wasn't he indicted, in October of 2020? We already had the proof. We had the laptop from where. And, folks, that was established. We talked about it at the time. Now, I understand that the corporate media has told you, well, they've actually told you, it's kind of a lawyer's story, isn't it? They told you a series of stories. You know how lawyers who are defense lawyers, and listen, I'm not besmirching defense lawyers because I defend cases as well. I operate both for the plaintiffs and for the defense, depending on who my clients are and what the case is. So I don't mean to besmirch defense lawyers, but, it is sort of this shifting story that they'll often give you. My client didn't do it. Okay, well, it's obvious your client did. Well, if my client did it, it was an accident. Okay, well, if my client did it, it was an accident. Your client wasn't hurt by what my client did. It's kind of this shifting story that you get. And we got the same series of events on the Hunter Biden laptop. First, it isn't his laptop. It's not his laptop. And then it was, well, it's his laptop. That's Russian disinformation. They probably put Russian disinformation on it. So they went there with the story. Well, now what's actually coming out and you're starting to see the corporate media, places like the Washington Post, the New York Times, and they're coming out and saying, okay, it's his laptop. And yeah, the documents on it are real. But it didn't mean that Joe Biden was involved in anything. And now that it's kind of been established that, oh, yeah, Joe Biden is involved, he's the big guy. Of course, all this was established as of October of 2020. They just wouldn't tell you about it. Now they just say, now their latest fallback position, you got to love this one, after deny, it's like lie, deny, and make counter accusations. After denying it for years, now their fallback is, well, yeah, it's all real, but it's not interesting. That's what Ann Applebaum of The Atlantic said.
They're trying to tell you it's not timely now.
It's not timely.
Because it doesn't affect an election.
It's like Joe said, that's like 3 weeks ago. Remember when people were still hounding him about the disastrous Afghanistan pullout last fall? And he's like, that was 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? Live in the present, after all. You people you're so tied up wanting to live in the past. Well, so I think what we're going to see, though, because we see the media turning against him, what you see is essentially a signal. Why are they? Because they're trying to get out in front of a story. What story are they trying to get out in front of? Well, we're starting to see it filter out that there is quite a bit of grand jury activity, and it leaked out of the grand jury, which those proceedings are supposed to be secret, but it apparently leaked out that even one of the grand jurors was asking questions, wait a minute, who is the big guy? Well, if they're on that trail, it's not going to take them too long if the grand jury is operated properly and the evidence is brought before it. It's not going to take them too long to get to the bottom of that rabbit trail and where that ends. And that's probably not going anywhere good for Hunter Biden. So now I think if he gets indicted federally, you have to imagine he's going to be pardoned. Wouldn't you? I have to say, if I was Biden, I'd pardon my son. I would. And I think he would do it.
He's absolutely going to.
He's going to get pardoned if he gets indicted. I still don't think it's highly likely, but it's all of a sudden it's starting to seem more possible than I used to think it was. Now, on the Biden laptop story, I want to caution you. I want to call something to your attention because what's going to happen is what happens with a lot of these stories. These high-level intelligence operatives really know how to kill a story. And one of the ways you could kill a story is you start to seed into it disinformation. And then when that comes out and there's something proved obviously false, then it makes you question the entire story. So what's happening right now? All of a sudden, in line with all of this, the heating up in the corporate press, it looks like something might come home to roost with Hunter Biden. All of a sudden, we hear about this guy, Jack Maxey. Have you heard about that? He's had to run over to Switzerland and hide. Well, this has all of a sudden been big news. He's had to run to Switzerland and hide with a copy of the laptop because only in Switzerland could he be free to fully investigate this. And he says, look, I've found, in addition to the 300 gigabytes that have already been found on the laptop drive, now you got a 500 gigabyte laptop drive. I'm not going to get too technical, folks, but hopefully this is not too technical. You got a 500 gigabyte laptop drive. They found 300 gigabytes on it. He says I've found an additional 450 gigabytes of data that was hidden on the laptop. Well, folks, that's just not possible. Because if you add 450 to 300, you get 750, and you can't have 750 gigabytes on a 500 gigabyte hard drive. And folks say, yeah, but it was deleted. And so it's still there even though it's deleted. And that's partially true. It is still there when it gets deleted until it gets overwritten. And once it's overwritten, it's not there anymore. I mean, that's how the bleach bit program works. That's how Hillary, who wipes it with a cloth, that's how she does it. It's overwritten. It's not there anymore. So there can't be 750 gigabytes on a 500 gigabyte hard drive. It's just physically not possible. I've checked this out with computer experts. John Paul MacIsaac, the guy who ran the computer shop in Delaware, has even come out and said that's impossible. He's forensically analyzed the drive himself. It is what he said it was, and this extra 450 gigabytes are not true. So be on guard. Be cautious about what you see coming out that is related to this Jack Maxey story, folks. There may be some stuff that comes out, some documents, quote-unquote documents that they found, videos that they found. I'm going to be highly suspicious of anything that I see coming out of that supposed investigation in Switzerland. And if you want to do a deep dive on some of this stuff, there's a guy out there on the internet, Yaakov Appelbaum, and he's got a website. And it's a little hard to tell you, Yaakov Appelbaum. But anyway, if you can look him up, he's done a deep dive on Maxey's background, and I think it's worth looking into before you jump in with both feet. And it's the kind of story, because it's something you already might believe about the laptop. It's the kind that's designed to kind of draw you in, and it could be a trap. It could be based on what we're hearing about the amount of data that he says he's got that wasn't otherwise recovered. So be suspicious of that. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.